everyone, and a Happy New Year from us here in Eagle News America. It is Sunday, January 10, 2021. Tonight, we have updates from our correspondents across North America, starting with Thomas Likeness in Edmonton, Alberta.
More COVID restrictions are coming to Canada's largest province.
Milas Simbulan in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Secretary of Agriculture invites Pennsylvanians to the 2021 Pennsylvania Farm Show from the comfort of their homes.
CJ Tumamau in Atlanta, Georgia.
Georgia incumbent senators concede runoff election.
Laura Gervina in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas mayor gives State of City address with promise of comeback in 2021.
For entertainment news, Sergio Reyes in Oxnard, California.
SAG-AFTRA and other film organizations propose temporary suspension of in-person production amid COVID surge.
Monique Velasco in Baton Rouge reports about a winter storm watch issued for northern Louisiana. And for ABC Travel, ABC friend Ethel Constantino takes us around downtown Charleston in South Carolina. Plus, stick around for today's roundtable. Let's talk about how we conserve energy as we celebrate National Cut Your Energy Cost Day. Our coverage begins now. On January 14, Uganda will hold its parliamentary and presidential elections. Days ahead of the elections, UN Human Rights spokesperson Ravina Shamdasani expresses concern over what she calls the country's deteriorating human rights. Take a look.
In the run-up to the election, numerous human rights violations have been reported, including of the rights to freedom of expression, peaceful assembly and participation, as well as arbitrary deprivation of life, arbitrary arrest and detention, and torture.
Shamdasani mentioned the number of people killed during protests.
Between 18 and 20th November, at least 54 people were killed during riots and protests in at least 7 districts across the country over the arrest and detention of 2 opposition presidential candidates, Robert Kyagulanyi, who is also known as Bobby Wine, and Patrick Ovoy Amuriat, and members of his political of the political opposition.
The human rights spokesperson said the pandemic restrictions are being manipulated to curtail opposition campaign activities.
Now, human rights law, under certain circumstances, may allow for restrictions to mass gatherings and physical campaigning for public health reasons. However, we've increasingly observed that the COVID-19 restrictions have been enforced more strictly to curtail opposition electoral campaign activities in a discriminatory fashion.
Shamdasani called on the Ugandan government to ensure a violence-free election.
We call on the Ugandan authorities to protect the rights to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, and to ensure a free and peaceful election process that guarantees the right of the people of Uganda to participate in their country's public affairs, including by taking measures to prevent instances of electoral violence.
Meanwhile, here in the U.S., authorities announced new arrests and charges Saturday over the violent incursion into the U.S. Capitol, including a tattoo-chested man in a horned hat whose image was beamed around the world. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, that man, Jacob Anthony Chansley, also known as Jake Angeli, and 2 others, one of them a newly elected state official, were charged in federal court in connection with the violence. Chansley was charged with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority and with violent entry and disorderly conduct on Capitol grounds. The statement alleged that Chansley was the man seen in media coverage who entered the Capitol building dressed in horns, a bearskin headdress, red, white, and blue face paint, shirtless, and tan pants, while carrying a long spear with an American flag tied to it. Chansley's seeming resemblance to singer J.K. sparked a worldwide buzz on social media, prompting the Jamiroquai frontman to issue a statement making clear that he was nowhere near Washington when the pro-Trump mob stormed the Capitol. Chansley describes himself as a digital soldier of the far-right QAnon conspiracy theory that claims Trump is waging a secret war against a global liberal cult of Satan-worshipping pedophiles. The The two other men were 35-year-old Derek Evans, a recently elected member of the West Virginia House of Delegates, and 36-year-old Adam Johnson of Florida. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, several of the intruders made their identification simple. Evans is seen on one video shouting as he crossed the threshold into the Capitol, "We're in, we're in. Derek Evans is in the Capitol." Johnson was identified from widely circulated photos showing him smiling and waving for a camera as he carried the lectern of the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi as a prize through the Capitol Rotunda. The Justice Department said Friday that 15 others have been charged over the incursion, including one man accused of possessing bombs. Meanwhile, Twitter shut down President Donald Trump's account Friday, booting him from the global service to prevent another attack on the U.S. Capitol building. Twitter's decision to permanently suspend Trump is considered overdue by critics who argue he has gotten away with abuses, but has inflamed members of the far right who equate fact-checking with stifling free speech. Twitter said in a blog post explaining its decision, "After close review of recent tweets from the @RealDonaldTrump account, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence." Twitter late Friday blocked efforts by Trump to sidestep the ban. He fired off tweets from the official presidential account @POTUS, accusing the company of conspiring with the radical left. The social network quickly deleted the tweets. Trump also tweeted from the @TeamTrump campaign account, which was soon suspended. Twitter said, "Using another account to try to evade a suspension is against our rules. We have taken steps to enforce this with regard to recent tweets from the @POTUS account." Twitter blocked Trump temporarily after the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol Wednesday, warning the suspension could become permanent. He was suspended Friday after a pair of tweets. In one, Trump vowed that none of his supporters would be disrespected. In another, he said he would not attend successor Joe Biden's inauguration on January 20, as is customary. Twitter said these two tweets must be read in the context of broader events in the country and the ways in which the president's statements can be mobilized by different audiences, including to incite violence, as well as in the context of the pattern of behavior from this account in recent weeks. ACLU Senior Legislative Counsel Kate Ruane said, "We understand the desire to permanently suspend him now, but it should concern everyone when companies like Facebook and Twitter wield the unchecked power to remove people from platforms that have become indispensable for the speech of billions. Social media companies such as Twitter have the right to decide what appears on our platforms and set standards for the appropriate content. The First Amendment right to free speech prevents governments from stifling expression and does not apply to private businesses." President-elect Joe Biden on Friday strongly indicated he does not back moves to impeach President Donald Trump, saying the quickest way to get him out of office is through the transition in 2 weeks. Biden, who will take oath of office on January 20, said, "The quickest way that will happen is us being sworn in on the 20th. He said, quote, "What actually happens before or after, that is a judgment for the Congress to make, but that's what I'm looking forward to, him leaving office," unquote. Joe Biden, let's listen to Joe Biden, U.S. President-elect.
What the Congress decides to do is for them to decide. But I'm going to have to, and they're going to have to be ready to hit the ground running, because when Kamala and I are sworn in, we're going to be introducing immediately significant pieces of legislation to deal with the virus, deal with the economy, and deal with economic growth. So we're going to do our job, and the Congress can decide how to proceed with theirs.
Biden was addressing reporters in his hometown of Wilmington 2 days after Trump encouraged a mob of supporters to march on Congress. Democratic leaders in Congress have growing momentum for attempting to impeach Trump for the second time in his presidency. There is little support so far among Republicans, although they too have loudly condemned Trump's behavior. This was Biden's first extended reaction to the talk of impeaching Trump, of trying to persuade Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment, removing the president from office. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden welcomed outgoing President Donald Trump's announcement on Friday that he won't attend the January 20 inauguration, calling it a good thing. Take a look.
That's what I am looking forward to, him leaving office. I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
Biden said Trump has been an embarrassment to the country. The president-elect said Trump is not fit to serve and that he exceeded even Biden's worst notions about him. Biden called Trump, quote, one of the most incompetent presidents in the history of the United States of America. Biden said Vice President Mike Pence would be welcome at his inauguration. These remarks came after Trump tweeted earlier Friday that he would not attend the inauguration. And now for today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University in Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, January 10th, 2021, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 90,045,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases, with U.S. as number one, more than 22.2 million, followed by India with more than 10.4 million, and Brazil with more than 8 million. To date, more than 1,931,000 have succumbed to this virus. The U.S. again leads the countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths, with more than 373,000. Brazil is next with more than 202,000, and India has more than 150,000. When we come back, updates from our correspondents in Edmonton, Alberta, and Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. We'll return in a moment. Stay with us.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Ikaw ba ay may natatanging talento sa pagsayaw? Ito na ang pagkakataon mong ipamalas ang inyong galing at manalo ng 2 million pesos. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang online audition ng Tagisan ng Galing Part 2.
Kaya kung ikaw ay 18 to 65 years old,
magpadala na ng audition video sa tagisananggaling@gmail.com or contact Shing sa 0995-880-8004. Narito ang guidelines sa paggawa ng inyong audition videos. You can also visit our Facebook fan page for more information. Sali na at maging bahagi ng pinakamalaki at pinakamalawak na talent competition on Philippine television and online. Tagisan ng Galing Part 2, dito lang sa Net25.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. Now let's head over to our friends in the north. Tougher COVID-19 restrictions are coming to Ontario. Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness joins us this evening for the details. Thomas?
Thank you, Anna. You're right. Things are about to get a lot tougher in Canada's largest province. That's Ontario. You know, with new COVID case count numbers approaching 4,000 a day, Premier Doug Ford isn't going to sit idly by. The province already auguring its way through a 4-week lockdown that began on December 26th, but it doesn't seem to be working. Now, Ford says new modeling numbers are due out on Tuesday. He's had a peek at them. He isn't revealing what they are, but he hints. He says they'll serve as a wake-up call. He says people, well, these are his words, fall out of their chairs when they see them. That's how shocking he expects the scenario to be. The measures that he's planning on introducing could include a province-wide curfew. just how did things get so bad? I mean, we were doing so well up until about October. Well, Ford says too many people aren't following the rules. He says no matter what I do, no matter what any level of government does, nothing is going to work unless people cooperate. And that's the fear that the fear that health officials have now is trying to manage these growing case numbers. Now, as I said earlier, Ontario reported almost 4,000 new cases. That's just today. 61 deaths in the last 24 hours. You can figure that out. That's about 3 deaths an hour. In around there, pretty close to that, 2.5 deaths an hour. 21 of them, though, in seniors' homes. And again, think back to when the pandemic began in the spring. Seniors' homes were a hotbed for COVID-19, and unfortunately, that was where the majority of deaths were occurring. The government at that time, after the armed forces came in, fixed things up, did a whole report on that. The government promised to fix it up, and things would improve. It looks like they've still got a big job ahead of them, as does the Premier, just trying to get people on board to fight this virus. So a pretty tough, pretty serious situation in Ontario. In the meantime, I wish you all good health. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Thomas. Certainly staggering numbers there. Now, I know you've already... It sounds bad already, right? 4,000 deaths. 4,000 cases each day, and with that 61 new deaths. Now, can you paint us a better picture? How bad is it really?
This is really beginning to hit the healthcare system hard, and people up here, we take our healthcare, I think, sometimes for granted because there is no copay. If I need to go to emergency today, if I need to go see my doctor today, I simply show up, present my my Alberta healthcare card, and that's it. I'll never see a bill for that, no matter what it is, unless it was something optional like getting this crooked nose straightened. Obviously, you got to pay for that. But anything medically necessary. So as a result, I think sometimes people take our healthcare system for granted. This is how bad it is. The healthcare system is getting hit hard. The provincial government in Ontario has now ordered all hospitals, no matter where they are, all hospitals to reserve 1/3 of their ICU beds for COVID patients because they will be transferring them from busier hospitals. What's even worse, more and more non-essential treatments being delayed. This would be things like elective surgery, any kind of a treatment that would require a bit of a hospital stay. What does that do? That's going to increase suffering for those patients. And what's next? I don't even want to think about it. But realistically, what could come next? Rationing. And we know that's happening in California already. Anna?
Yes, I was going to mention that. That's horrible to even think about it. For them to, and can you imagine how the healthcare workers feel? To be making those decisions on who they're going to pick up and who they're going to take to the hospital, and then being turned away even when they get to the hospital, right? Now, Thomas, you mentioned earlier, part of the reason is people are just not listening anymore. This lockdown started on the 26th, so we're looking at maybe just a little over 2 weeks. How else would you say the situation got this way? Do you think that the mutation of the new virus have anything to do with it there?
Probably not. There's only been about 6 cases of it reported in Ontario. But what the Premier is saying is he's blaming people for not following restrictions, but he should shoulder some of the blame too. He waited an extra week before bowing to the request from the city of Toronto for increased restrictions. He waited until the holiday was over before that lockdown came in. And in that time, people gathered, of course, on the holiday because there was no restriction. And of course, that's where the big spread comes. Health officials again saying in the second wave, in the first wave, we attacked the virus. In the second wave, they're saying the virus has got us cornered. Some are saying the province is on the verge of triage. We talked about that a moment ago. And the sad thing about that, you're right. I wouldn't want to be a healthcare worker, a doctor or a nurse who's got to decide, I can save you. No, not you, you. And that's what it could come down to if we don't start bringing this thing under control, because the system is simply too overwhelmed. and you start deciding who's going to be taken off life support. And in these cases, families will have no part in that decision. Anna?
Well, Thomas, I sure hope that things get better. And while we wait, you and your family stay safe.
You too, Anna. Look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, Thomas. Pennsylvanians are invited to this year's all-virtual 2021 Farm Show in Swarthmore. Bureau Chief Myla Simbulan reports. Myla?
Hi, Anna, and good morning or good evening to all those who are watching us right now. Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding kicked off the virtual 2021 Pennsylvania Farm Show, inviting all 12.8 million Pennsylvanians to enjoy the virtual show from the comfort of their homes and cultivate a brighter tomorrow as they explore the bounty of Pennsylvania's strong and diverse agriculture industry. Throughout the event, virtual attendees will have the opportunity to learn and be inspired by the breadth of Pennsylvania agriculture, its heritage, and the innovation driving the industry forward. Here is Department of Agriculture Secretary to tell us more. Take a look.
We chose the theme of, cultivate tomorrow to both signify, that tomorrow that we're all looking for, but also the aspiration we feel for the industry and how important it is to Pennsylvania agriculture in this Commonwealth to have a vibrant and productive agriculture.
The event showcases the quality and breadth of Pennsylvania's agriculture industry and the people who make it thrive. The show offers visitors a tiny slice of the industry that employs nearly 500,000 people and contributes $185 billion to Pennsylvania's economy every year. Let's watch the ad.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that agriculture is essential. The COVID-19 crisis surfaced our shared fragility. It has brought to light how everything and everyone are truly connected. Agriculture didn't stop. We adapted, we learned, we innovated, and we persevered.
We planted!
We grew!
And we harvested.
We cared for livestock.
Our markets changed.
But we found new ways to reach customers.
We milked the cows.
We processed.
And we nourished Pennsylvania.
We helped our neighbors.
We put food on the shelves and dinner on the table for families around the Commonwealth.
We spent more time with our pets.
Our classroom locations may have changed, but teaching and learning continued.
We found new ways to connect.
We unite to protect those we love.
To protect our community.
Thank you for all that our agriculture industry has done.
And for all that Pennsylvanians have done.
Now, join us as we cultivate tomorrow.
This event will bring stories of agriculture into the homes of families across the Commonwealth and will be able to explore with industry innovators on how we can cultivate a brighter tomorrow together for Pennsylvania's leading industry. Anna, right now in Swarthmore, it's 41 degrees Fahrenheit with clear skies or 5 degrees Celsius. In Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Myla's Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Myla. I love that ad. It's touching.
I know.
It's certainly true. I mean, this pandemic, again, we like to look at the positive, right? And we realize how interconnected we are, not even just here in the U.S., but globally, and how many people have really, stepped out of their box and tried new things. Now, how can Pennsylvanians join this live event, Myla?
So like you said, this year it's going to be different. So throughout the week of the show, which already started last Saturday, full-length live events will be streamed both on the Pennsylvania Farm Show's Facebook page and the Pennsylvania Cable Network, or what we call here PCN. Anna?
And what can we expect from this year's show?
So there's a lot of things happening. There's virtual exhibits. It showcases different farms. There's also live beehive and duckling camera. Those are really cute. I just saw it a while ago. There's also competitions, like they call it butter up. So it's a competition where you have to sculpt butter for up to 5 pounds of butter. So that's really, I want to see that because I love butter. I love cooking. There's also going to be live and pre-recorded events, like how to tie dye with plants. There's also how you watch. You will be able also to watch an alpaca obstacle course. You can also see touring a farm. You can also learn to make butter. And there's also some, like when you pair food and wine, or get dinner inspirations from local chefs and farmers. So all these are from the comfort of your home. Everything's virtual. There's also discussion about issues regarding the agriculture industry here in Pennsylvania. So those are the things we're going to expect for the rest of the week. Anna?
Lots to look forward to, Myla, and maybe you can update us on what you learn, and if you learn to sculpt butter.
Yes, we'll do.
Thank you. Thank you, Myla,
Thanks,
for
Anna.
that update. Stay safe.
You too.
When we come back, updates from Atlanta, Georgia, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Oxnard, California. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
May nilulutong bagong game show ang Net25 para sa lahat ng mahihilig magmukbang at kumanta. Pag-combine natin yan, equals all-out kantahan at mukbangan in one. Ang headline ng balitang ito ay It's Singing Time!
It's Singing Time! Mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 9 ng gabi. Dito lang sa Net25.
Ikaw ay aking. Sa mundong waring walang puwang, para sa kanilang pagmamahalan, sapat ba ang tibok ng kanilang mga puso upang bumuo ng daigdig nilang sarili? Inihahandog ng Eagle Broadcasting Corporation ang kauna-unahang romantic teleserye ng Net25. Ang Daigdig Ko'y Ikaw. Tuwing Sabado, 8:08 ng gabi, dito lamang sa Net25.
At ako'y laging sa'yo hanggang magpakailanman.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
This is Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. Following last week's election, which projectively gave Democrats control of the Senate, Georgia's incumbent senators have conceded. In Atlanta, CJ Tumamau has the details. CJ?
Thank you, Anna. After a disturbing attack on the Capitol that left many Americans and U.S. politicians, Senator Perdue and Senator Loeffler have conceded on the Georgia runoff election, making history as Warnock, the first African-American Democrat elected to a Senate seat in Georgia, and Ossoff, the youngest sitting member of the U.S. Senate, and the state's first Jewish senator in Georgia. Neither race was within the 0.5 difference to allow the candidates to request a recount. Earlier this week, Senator Kelly Loeffler conceded in a short 2-minute video, thanking her supporters and her colleagues for the help in her campaign. David Perdue also made a statement, quote, "Bonnie and I are deeply grateful for the support millions of Georgians have shown us this year. And in the 6 years we first ran for the U.S. Senate, serving our home state has been the honor of a lifetime. And I am very proud of how our team in Georgia and Washington, D.C. fought every day to deliver real results for all 11 million Georgians. Although we won the Georgia election, we came up short of the Georgia's 50% rule. And now I want to congratulate the Democratic Party and my opponent for this runoff win. Bonnie and I will continue to pray for our wonderful state and our great country. May God continue to bless Georgia and the United States of America." Warnock celebrating his victory, tweeting, quote, "The 4 most powerful words in democracy. The people have spoken. Thank you, Georgia, and now it's time to get to work." Ossoff also celebrating his victory, quote, "I humbly thank the people of Georgia who have entrusted me with the representation of our great state in the U.S. Senate. My team is working diligently on the transition so we can begin to deliver results immediately upon taking office. With history made and with a new Senate controlled by the Democrats, President-elect Joe Biden will have the opportunity to push many items of his party's agenda. And it looks like that is what about half of Georgian voters are looking forward to. In Marietta, Georgia, ZJ Tamamau, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, CJ, for that report. Now, as you alluded to, voters were pretty split in Georgia, right? So what did the state's Republican governor have to say about the new senators?
Well, the Governor Brian Kemp actually tweeted this weekend congratulating the senator-elect and also thanking the senator right now, David Perdue, for his service to the community and to the state of Georgia. And he's pledging to work with the incoming administration as the senators transition.
Great. What's the first thing you're looking forward to, CJ, with this transition of elected leaders?
Well, one thing I'm really looking forward to is the end of some of the political advertisements I've seen online. Because especially in Georgia, we've been hit hard with so many political ads.
That's right. Yeah, Philip talked about that, so I'm sure he's next time he comes on, he'll mention that too. Well, thank you, ZJ, for that report. You stay safe out there.
Thank you, Anna. You too.
Here in Las Vegas, Mayor Carolyn Goodman, in her State of the City address, promises of a comeback in 2021. Eagle News correspondent Lori Jarvina reports. Lori?
Thank you, Anna. As we charge into this new year, even after thinking we've seen it all in 2020, we still find ourselves experiencing many firsts. Although this is the 10th city address given by Las Vegas Mayor Carolyn Goodman, this is the first time it was delivered virtually. On January 7th, Mayor Goodman addressed the citizens of Las Vegas. She started by acknowledging the pandemic and extreme challenges of the past year, but went on to emphasize the hope of a booming 2021. Despite the grim circumstances and events of 2020, Las Vegas Mayor Goodman praised the efforts of city leaders and highlighted many of their initiatives and efforts to overcome the crippling economic effects brought by the pandemic. She even described Las Vegas as having a chameleon-like ability to adapt, a city that is always changing and improving itself. Among some of the programs she praised included small business grants to 1,500 businesses, housing assistance grants to assist with rents or mortgages, reallocated staff efforts to the Healthy Parks program, and focused on most vulnerable populations with safety and aid projects. These programs have paved the way for a comeback in 2021, with many things to provide optimism, such as the recent openings of the new Circa Hotel and Gallery Tower at the Downtown Grand, many new small businesses and restaurants taking root in downtown, more development in the Las Vegas Medical District, Symphony Park and the Arts District, new parks projects under construction throughout the city, and also a new municipal courthouse scheduled to open in May. Mayor Goodman also took a moment to remember Tony Hsieh, who tragically passed away in 2020, and praised the lasting impact of his contributions. Mayor Goodman expressed her eagerness to see the completion of the largest public works project in the history of Las Vegas, the $109 million Las Vegas Boulevard Improvement Project, which stretches from Sahara Avenue North to US 95 Interstate Highway. Mayor Goodman stated that her favorite part of the project is the newly completed Gateway Arches that marks the path into historic downtown. And last but not least, Mayor Goodman spoke about improving the quality of life for Las Vegas residents and concluded her speech by emphasizing that public safety remains the city's top priority. In Las Vegas, Nevada, Lori Jarvina, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Lori. Now, of all of these projects and initiatives, what are you looking forward to most in 2021?
There's a lot of things going on in Vegas. Like the mayor said, looking forward to a booming 2021. And in fact, in addition to visiting the local store that we talked about, the restaurants, I'm also looking forward to concerts again, feeling safe enough that we can venture out and attend some of these concerts. In fact, last year about this time, we had tickets to Boyz II Men, which we had to cancel. But, with the coming year and the prospects of everything opening up again, looking forward to more music concert stuff. Anna?
Yes, me too. It's been a long time since I've been out there to see a show. Well, thank you, Lori, for that update. Stick around for our roundtable discussion in a little bit. Amid a devastating surge in COVID-19 cases, the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and other film and television industry organizations proposed a suspension of in-person production. In Los Angeles, Sergio Reyes has the story. Sergio?
Thank you, Anna. SAG-AFTRA, with other organizations in the film and television industry, concurred to propose a temporary suspension on in-person production in the midst of devastating surges in COVID-19 cases, deaths, hospitalizations in Los Angeles. The Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, or SAG-AFTRA for short, represent those working in the film, television, music, and broadcasting industry, including actors and recording artists. Gabriel Carteris, SAG-AFTRA president, states, Southern California hospitals are facing a crisis, the likes of which we have never seen. Patients are dying in the ambulances, waiting for treatment because hospital emergency rooms are overwhelmed. This is not a safe environment for in-person production right now. SAG-AFTRA has been urging its members to remain at home as much as possible and to keep from taking any on-set assignments for the next few weeks in face of rapid rising cases, deaths, and hospitalizations due to the coronavirus. Currently, on location, film productions are allowed as long as the safety precautions on health and safety are strictly followed, even with the current stay-at-home orders in Los Angeles County. Film LA continues to facilitate the production process as it is the organization that accepts, approves, and coordinates film production permits in the city and county of Los Angeles. It also issued a media advisory a few weeks ago regarding this. Film LA advised, receptive to the guidance of county public health experts, the industry also responsibly began dialing back activity considerably beginning earlier in December. Data we will publish in January will reveal that incoming applications for permits to film declined significantly in the month of December, and last week to lows we have not seen since the weeks after restart production last summer. The advisory came after the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health issued their recommendation. Although music, TV, and film productions are allowed to operate, we ask you to strongly consider pausing work for a few weeks during the catastrophic surge in COVID cases. Identify and delay higher risk activities and focus on lower risk work for now, if at all possible. In Oxnard, California, Sergio Reyes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you for that update, Sergio. Well, hopefully they will comply with the request to put everything on pause. So what's the current COVID-19 situation there in LA County?
The COVID situation is not great here in LA County. This has been a really bad weekend for us. Last Friday, we recorded our highest daily number of deaths at 318 on a daily basis. Just yesterday, the county exceeded 900,000 COVID-19 cases and 12,000 COVID-19 deaths. There have been over 1,000 additional COVID-19 deaths in the previous 4 days and over 100,000 additional COVID-19 cases just this past week alone. The rapid increase of positive cases are also driving hospitals to overcapacity throughout LA. There are now 7,964 people in hospitals due to the coronavirus, and 22% of them are in the ICU. Just a few hours ago, LA Public Health Department announced 14,482 new positive cases and 166 new deaths today. According to the public health officials, the county needs to reduce the number of people being infected with COVID-19 in order to ease the burden on hospitals. Anna?
Thank you, Sergio. Well, you stay safe. How are you, how are you dealing with this? How are you keeping up?
Well, it's, me and my family, I still go to work on a daily basis, but my family stays at home as much as possible. If we do go out, we make sure we take hand sanitizer, we take our essential PPEs, wear a mask always, make sure that we do the social distancing as much as we can. And all we can do is make sure that we wash our hands all the time. We have to do everything we can to make sure that we stay away from the coronavirus.
Yes, absolutely. Those are, really important to keep up with those safety measures. Well, Sergio, we're all thinking of you, and stay safe out there with you and your family.
Thank you.
Up next, a report from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and a quick tour of downtown Charleston in South Carolina. Plus, for tonight's roundtable, we'll share with you simple ways we save energy. This is Eagle News America. Make sure you stay with us.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced, not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas, a 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to our help outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
It says the best defense is still containment.
We are in uncharted territory.
Rider volume 450. Fire on to 100%. Traffic ban. Consumption.
watching Eagle News America. I'm Anna Cui in Las Vegas. A winter storm watch is up in northern Louisiana and west central Mississippi. In Baton Rouge, Eagle News correspondent Monique Velasco files this report.
Thank you, Anna, and hello from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On Saturday, the National Weather Service issued a winter storm watch in effect for northern Louisiana and towards west central Mississippi. Officials stated that snow is likely to fall and could accumulate just before the Monday morning rush hour. Travelers are cautioned to be careful while driving as they may experience slushy snow on roads. According to the National Weather Service, widespread snow reaching to 2 inches can be expected in the watch area, with lesser amounts spread out across Arkansas, Louisiana-Texas border. While Louisianans may be enjoying some of the snowy winter weather, here in Baton Rouge, the city's disaster preparedness program, Red Stick Ready, encourages residents to put a freeze on fires, stating that half of all home heating fires occur in December, January, and February. 1 in every 7 home fires is related to heating equipment. Red Stick Ready offers the following tips to stay fire safe in this season. Keep flammable items at least 3 feet away from any heat source like fireplaces, wood stoves, radiators, or space heaters. Keep portable generators outside and as far from windows in your home as possible. Install and test carbon monoxide systems at least once a month. Plug only one heating appliance like space heaters into one power outlet at a time. These tips and more can be found at brla.gov. Meanwhile, I hope you're staying safe in your part of the world. In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I'm Monique Velasco, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Anna.
Thank you, Monique, for those safety tips. Now, EBC friend Ethel Constantino lets us tag along as she tours downtown Charleston in South Carolina. Let's go.
Hello from Charleston, South Carolina. This is Ethel Constantino, and today I'm very excited to take you on a tour of this beautiful city. Let's begin our sightseeing with a short walk along the storied streets of downtown Charleston. Charleston is the largest city in the state of South Carolina. It exudes this European vibe with its historic architecture and romantic atmosphere. You can enjoy the stunning views of this city by riding a horse-drawn carriage, or you can also rent a bike taxi and have a unique tour experience. So let's go and explore. Our first stop is the Joe Riley Waterfront Park. This park offers a great view of the Charleston Harbor and a fantastic place to have picnics and strolls. The Pineapple Fountain is a fantastic highlight situated in the middle of the waterfront park. It is a large water fountain shaped like a pineapple. It provides a cool backdrop for photo shoots and a fun spot to just chill and splash. Moving along, you can see this lively view of historic houses on the side of this street. It is called the Rainbow Row because of the colorful pastel painted series of homes. It is a very popular spot in this city. Another famous landmark in this historic city is the Battery. According to the city's website, it is a fortified defensive seawall with a rich and deep history that dates back to the Civil War era. One can have a glimpse of its history through the remarkable monuments and statues in the park. Its scenic views and boardwalk provide a relaxing ambience for leisurely afternoon walk. The Battery is also famous for its grand antebellum mansions, which are mainly summer homes for the rich and wealthy. According to our tour guide, who is also a student in the College of Charleston, some scenes of the romantic movie The Notebook were shot in their campus. The campus radiates an overall dreamy and charming vibe. Well, our day is almost coming to an end. So let's stop by the famous and historic Charleston City Market and do some shopping. Here we can buy handcrafted gifts and souvenirs for our family and friends. Just like the many spots of this city, this market has its own deep history. But if you want more shopping, just walk around the city and you will surely find more boutiques to shop from. And if you have more time to spare, you can also go to the shopping outlet located just 15 minutes away from the city center. I know, what's a trip without food? Well, the city streets are lined with restaurants, cafes, ice cream shops, and bakeries. Following social distancing, you can enjoy a dine-in experience, or you can also have a takeout and just enjoy the city view of your hotel. I hope you enjoyed our tour here in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm Ethel Constantino. Eagle News will live in interesting times. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ethel, for that fun video. And I've never been to South Carolina, and I feel like now I know what to look forward to if ever I get to go there. Now it's time for our roundtable. It's my favorite part because it is we learn so much when we talk about different things here in this part of the show. So January 10 is National Cut Your Energy Cost Day, and one way to observe it is to compare notes on how we work on conserving energy in our own simple ways. Because, you know, a little goes a long way. So let's start with Thomas there in Edmonton. What kind of things do you do to save energy?
Well, we've done a couple of things. First of all, turn out the lights when you're not in the room, but replace those bulbs with LEDs. We've got some fluorescent lighting as well in the kitchen and throughout the basement, and driving less. And what do we drive? Well, we're using the Kia a lot more than the F-150, so that saves on the gas bill as well.
Definitely, that 150 is a gas guzzler, right?
It is.
Save
you need
money
a mortgage to drive it.
Thank you, Thomas. If we have time, we'll come back to you. Now let's, how about Lori? What kind of things are you doing?
Hi, Anna. Well, thankfully in Las Vegas, so far, it's not too cold here, but definitely one thing we'll do to conserve energy is keep the house heater, not keep it too high, keep the temperature pretty moderate in the house, or even a little bit cooler. I'm a fan of, using snuggly thick blankets and kind of wearing, sweaters and, cozying up that way. So, and like Thomas said, I like natural light as much as possible, so I don't like to use the lights in the house if I can help it. So just a couple things we're doing, Anna.
That's good, Lori. Thank you for sharing. Now, I'm curious. What are your and this anybody can jump in. What do you guys set your thermostat at during wintertime? I want to see where I stand.
Let me hear what the others say.
Come on, Lori. What's yours set right now?
I quickly had to check with my husband because he usually sets it, but I think it might be like 68. I don't know if that's considered warm or hot, but I'm generally cold anyways, like my fingers and, my toes, so I always have socks and really like to snuggle into these thick blankets. But then if you ask my kids, they're like in T-shirts and shorts all the time, so maybe it's just me, Anna.
No, it's not just you. That's me too. I wear socks and a sweater all day long when I'm at home. And mine is set at 69, so that's pretty good. We're safe, okay. I think. Now, what about Myla? What are you doing there to save energy at home?
Every time, Lori, our answers are always connected. So mine is more of, I recently had a new programmable thermostat. So here in the Northeast, because we have we're extremely cold during winter, and then during summer we're extremely hot. So HVAC is the culprit of our higher energy costs. So we usually do the programming here at home. So we're programmed to, like, when you leave the house, there's a different temperature, or when you go to sleep. When we go to sleep, our temperature is 65 degrees, but during the day is 68. Something like that. So it's programmable, and you can also use your phone because there's also an app connected to the thermostat. So that helps a lot in cutting energy costs. Anna?
That's right. And you don't have to think about it if you just set it, right? And you can just adjust as needed. And I did read that's one of the good ways to save energy. Now, what about Sergio there in LA?
So for us here in California, I mean, my house, we don't really use the heater, so. But one of the things we do is at our house is make sure that we have a full load of in our dishwasher or our washer at home. So don't try to, I know everybody likes to have all their clothes clean as soon as possible, but you can try and save up as much as you can and make sure you have a full load. You try to take shorter showers. I mean, it's kind of weird. You want to, even though you want to keep yourself clean, scrub faster or something.
Scrub faster.
Shorter showers.
Just stay in there long enough to get clean, Sergio. Well, thank you. Yes, especially the kids, we have to remind them, when you have teenagers that are learning to wash clothes, one of the things they don't know is, that maybe they'll wash like just a few pieces of clothing and you're like, no, don't do that. And also they said if you wash clothes at night, that's also more energy efficient. Thank you, Sergio. Now, CJ, what kind of things are you doing?
Oh, well, Anna, since I'm like a teenager, I guess, but I'm always on my phone, and I try to only charge my phone when it's necessary, because I believe that if you charge your phone like multiple times a day, it uses a lot of energy. And if you leave your phone charging overnight, I think that just wastes energy. And also, I think it kills your battery in your phone too. I'm not sure. I read it in an article somewhere, but I like to charge my phone when it's like really low, like below 10%.
Yeah, I did read that too, that the more you, if you charge it when it's already fully charged, it does drain the battery. I don't know, like you said, maybe we'll look into that and see if that's true, ZJ. And that's true, the phones now, with the right charger, it doesn't take that long to charge it up to 100%. So that's one thing I've also stopped doing recently, is taking, not plugging it in overnight. So, well, thank you, CJ, for sharing that with us. Now, some of the major things that, you can do, weatherproof your home. These are more more maybe expensive things to do, like replace old windows with new energy efficient windows, replace old furnace, things like that. But those, like I said, those are more like major things that we can do to save energy at home. Thomas mentioned changing your light bulbs to energy, like LEDs, right? And carpool whenever possible, because that also saves energy. Unplug power cords when you're not using that. That's one thing I learned. Like if you're not, during the day, unplug your coffee maker, your microwave maybe. Those will also save energy. Well, thank you, Eagle News team, for joining us in our roundtable discussion, and thank you for all the tips. Hopefully our viewers picked up something new to save energy at home as well. And now we continue to thank our healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers with a round of applause. We appreciate each and every one of you. That is today's Eagle News America. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Anna Cui, and we live in interesting times.